Alrighty guys, in today's video we are getting the Platinum Trophy in the greatest video game ever made, and that is Grand Theft Auto 5. Originally released on the PlayStation 3 all the way back in 2013, it is the only game in history to be released across 3 generations of console. It is one of the grindiest Platinum Trophies ever, taking around 150 hours to complete and requiring us to get in excess of 200 collectibles. To get the Platinum Trophy, we need to complete the story to 100%, and then we need to rank up to level 100 in the online mode. And if you played GTA Online before, you know how much of a grind this is. But before we even worry about online, let's complete the story. So the story for GTA 5 begins in the prologue, and here we meet Michael, Trevor and Brad, and in typical GTA fashion, they're robbing a bank. But let's just say it doesn't go to plan, and this moment in the prologue is probably the most important part of the entire story. We then fast forward 9 years to present day Los Santos, and here we meet Franklin and Lamar, who are on a repo job and steal 2 cars. Here we get introduced to the basic controls of the game, Franklin's special abilities, and the city of Los Santos. We then return the cars to Simeon at the dealership and then pop our very first trophy of the game. Dude, where did I get? Welcome to Los Santos. There are a total of 82 main missions in GTA and nearly just as many side missions. In order to get the solid gold baby trophy, we need to achieve a gold medal on a total of 70 of these missions. To get the gold medal in missions, there are certain requirements such as taking minimal damage, using certain abilities, or not scratching your car that you need to complete to get the gold medal. Now, to save time and having already played through the story on the PS3 and the PS4, I had a guide up with the requirements and replayed the missions as I went along in order to get this grindy trophy out of the way early. But anyway, enough of that, let's continue on with the story. We then return back to Simeon, and now with the help of Lamar, we need to go and repo a bike. This involves us getting involved in a gang shootout, and after successfully getting the bike back, we then need to sneak into some rich millionaire's house and then repo his son's car. The rich millionaire, who we later find out is Michael, just so happens to be hiding in the back of the car and tells us to drive through the front of Simeon's dealership. Michael then proceeds to beat the absolute crap out of Simeon, and then we unlock the ability to play as Michael. Franklin then visits Michael at his house, and the pair end up getting along really well, and it's the start of a blossoming friendship. It really isn't though, Michael is a complete psycho. Anyway, we save Michael's son Jimmy from some random boat thieves, complete some random tow truck job for this methed up lady named Tonya, and then do some gang banging and stuff with Lamar.
What?
We then return to Michael and find his wife cheating on him with her tennis coach. And in typical Michael fashion, with the help of Franklin, we chase down the tennis coach to a pretty good looking house in the hills of Los Santos, and instead of talking it through or even just beating the crap out of him, Michael decides to completely tear his house down. I know, really rational, right? But it turns out that the house isn't even owned by the tennis coach and is actually owned by Martin Madrazo, a very wealthy and powerful cartel member. Instead of killing Michael and Franklin, Martin tells them that they need to get him the money required to fix the house and everything will then be okay. So Michael gives his buddy Lester a call, and after helping him blow up the CEO of Life Invader, he agrees to help Michael set up a job to get the money for Martin Madrazo, and this is basically how the story of GTA goes. We get a bit of character development, do some weird crazy stuff, and then pull off all these crazy heists to earn money, which then helps us to then pull off even crazier heists. So our first heist is the Vangelico Jewel Store, and here we will get to earn the trophy Diamond Hard. And so after scouting the store, picking our approach and then crew, we were ready to take all of the diamonds. So I decided to go with the subtle and quiet approach for the heist, and that involved gassing all of the workers.
Hey, man, 2 seconds.
Bro, how does that go over? Stealing all the diamonds and then escaping on our bikes. And then after successfully arriving at the getaway truck, we popped our next trophy. Alright Franklin, Diamond Hard. You cleaned out Vangelico to pay back Martin Madrazo. After completing all the other little bits and bobs and finalising the heist, we then get to meet the best character of the entire game, and that is Trevor. Trevor, to put it nicely, is a complete maniac and very unstable. After hearing about the heist on TV, he now knows that Michael is still alive somewhere in Los Santos and sets out to find him. But before we head to Los Santos, Trevor has some unfinished business to complete in Sandy Shores. He goes and kills all of these bikers, attacks some random cartel boss and destroys his trailer, and then negotiates a business deal with some Chinese people for a certain substance, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, boy.
Trevor then arrives at Michael's house, and it is probably the most awkward thing ever. But the pair get along just fine and go and save Michael's daughter from some weird reality TV show host, and they make him dance in his underwear.
Alright,
This is so good. Bro, a friendship resurrected. With friends like this, who needs enemies? From here, Michael then gets roped into helping Davey out at the FIB unwillingly. Remember all the way back to the prologue and how the bank robbery went so bad? Well, Michael tipped off the FIB about the job, and this helped Davey to get the biggest scalp of his career. However, Trevor doesn't know this, and in order to stop Trevor finding out the truth, Davey is now bribing Michael to help him. Meanwhile, Trevor is off doing Trevor things, and then we meet Floyd. Floyd works down at the local port, and Trevor is interested in the shipments coming in and out of Los Santos. So Trevor, Floyd and Wade set out and scout the port and find Merryweather is shipping in some experimental weapon, and this is going to be the next heist. And so just like we did before, we pick our approach, steal a submarine and an army helicopter. I know, this is low-key kind of crazy, and I have no idea how he just walked in there and stole it. And so with everything ready, we then found the weapon, got picked up in the helicopter. Bro, fuck, do not. And then shot down the Merryweather helicopters pursuing us. But it turns out that the weapon we found is a super weapon, and everyone will go on the government's hit list, and Trevor has to return it. Subversive. You stole an experimental super weapon from Merryweather and gave it back. After returning the super weapon, we then return to Franklin, and here we get introduced to Lester's assassination missions. Now these are a series of 5 missions where you have to assassinate certain people, however it is recommended that you leave these missions till the very end of the game so you can manipulate the stock market and pop a trophy that we'll discuss a little bit later on. However, you cannot progress the story without finishing the very first mission, and so here I popped my next trophy. Trading pure alpha, make a profit over your total investments in the stock market. Now, it turns out that the government is corrupt, and so the FIB need us to help steal some documents from another corrupt agency known as the IAA. So we steal the truck, block an armoured car, ram into it, steal the package, and then have a massive shootout with the police. We then drop the package off to millionaire Devin Weston, who is just such a nice person, and this popped us our next trophy. Blitzed. You performed a classic blitz play. Oh, I also forgot to mention that I may have gotten a little bit sidetracked while setting up the heist, and I popped 2 other trophies at the same time. The first one was for completely upgrading a gun at Ammunition. Pimp my sidearm. Fully mod a weapon. And the second was for delivering a bail bond target to Maud alive. Wanted alive or alive. Deliver a bail bond target alive. Now, remember how I mentioned Devin Weston before? Well, pretty much our next few missions are just stealing cars and then doing some surveillance for him and not getting paid for it. With no money coming in, Trevor is starting to get itchy feet, and so him and Michael decide to go and get help from Martin Madrazo. So we shoot a plane out of the sky, recover some documents, but instead of leaving it there, Trevor decides to kidnap Martin's wife. So Trevor and Michael need to leave town and lay low for a while as Martin has a hit out on them, and this then leads into our next heist. A fair day's pay. It's time for a little getaway. The FIB approach Michael and Trevor and need them to help them out. However, because their funds are running low, they call in Lester, and here we set up the Paleto Bay score. Now this is easily the best heist in the entire game. After stealing all the money, we then storm our way through the small town of Paleto Bay in juggernaut suits and blow everything up with miniguns. The army and a tank gets called in, and who would have thought our getaway vehicle was this? But I guess it is GTA after all, and we made it to the getaway train and escaped with our score. Small town, big job. You made a big impression at the Paleto Bay Chicken Festival. After completing the Paleto heist, the crew now has enough money to help out the FIB steal a nerve agent from the IAA. And this is where everything in the story starts to go downhill. The heist fails and Haynes shoots himself in the leg to allow Michael and Davey to get away, and pretty much everything else just self-destructs from here. We return to Trevor, and he is getting a little bit sus about Michael and his death in North Yankton from the prologue. And so he decides to fly all the way out there and dig up the grave, and here he finds Brad buried in Michael's place. The moment of truth. You have uncovered the truth about Brad. Now with all this going on, I managed to pop 2 other trophies. The first one was for picking up this random guy and dropping him at some cult. Our truest acolyte. Deliver an unsuspecting victim to the altruist cult. And then the second one was for completing all of Trevor's rampages. Red Mist. Complete all rampages. Anyway, back to the story. So Trevor is inclined to let Michael die to the Chinese, but Franklin is the only one thinking straight and manages to find Michael and saves him just in the nick of time. This then leads us into the second last heist of the game, where we have to do one last job for the FIB and steal some files from them in order to save the career of Davey and Steve Haynes. So we get dressed as a janitor, sweep some floors, planted a bomb, blew up the FIB building and pretended to be firemen and stole the data, rappelled down the elevator shaft and completed the heist. The government gimps. You recovered sensitive information from a highly defended federal building. And this then leads into the final heist of the game, the big one. This is going to be the heist of all heists and give everyone enough money to finally retire and never have to commit any crimes ever again. So the plan is to rob the Union Depository, and we decide to go with the subtle approach. We hijack the armoured truck, drive into the Union Depository and take all of the gold and walk in and out like it's a piece of cake. But of course it's GTA and it can't all be that simple. Merryweather jumps us, and after a shootout we have to escape with all the gold unloaded in our cars, but somehow we manage to escape and we have robbed the entire city. The big one. This ain't no dream no more. But we still have one thing left to do. In order to get the final trophy, we have one huge decision to make. Do we kill Michael or Trevor or keep them both alive? Well, the answer of course is C, because if you pick any of the others, you won't be able to get all of the trophies, and of course, that's all we really care about. So pretty much all we do is go and kill off any loose ends who might want us dead, and then that is the game completed. To live or die in Los Santos. Completed the final mission. And now we move on to the most dreaded part of this platinum, the cleanup. So to complete the game to 100%, we need to get our 70 gold medals, complete 50 stunt jumps, 50 under the bridge flights and 15 knife flights, and then find a total of 150 collectibles. Oh, and we also need to clean up the remaining miscellaneous trophies we might have also missed. So firstly, we can get a few random trophies out of the way. The first one is a lot of cheddar, and that is for spending a total of 200 million across all 3 characters. Now remember the assassination missions we spoke about earlier in the game? Well, here is where you can farm that trophy. For each assassination mission, Lester will tell you which company to invest in or which company to not invest in. Before completing the assassination, invest appropriately, and by the end of it you'll have a ridiculous amount of money across 3 characters and your new trophy. A lot of cheddar. Spend a total of 200 million across all 3 characters. Next on the list was our 70 gold medals. Luckily I had been getting these as I went along, and I only needed to replay 2 of the easier missions and then I got my trophy. Ah, solid gold baby. Earn any 70 gold medals on missions, strangers and freaks. For the 3-man army trophy, you have to survive for 3 minutes on at least 3-star wanted level with all 3 characters together off mission. This is easy enough with the airport method, so I picked up Michael and Trevor, headed to Los Santos International Airport and drove around for 3 minutes, and then the trophy was mine. 3-man army. Survive 3 minutes on at least a 3-star wanted level with all 3 characters together off mission. And then finally, our last miscellaneous trophy was for fully modding a vehicle, and considering I am an absolute stock market king, I went to Los Santos Customs and modified Franklin's starting car for my next trophy. Los Santos Customs, fully mod a vehicle. So now we're on to completing all of the random side missions and quests. The first one we got was All's Fair in Love and War. All you need to do here is purchase Downtown Cabco and wait for a phone call, and then complete a private fare for a person and drop them off at their required destination. All's Fair in Love and War. Purchase Downtown Cabco and complete a private fare. Next on the list was the Multi-Discipline Trophy, and this is where we have to get a gold medal in all applicable hobbies and pastime. Now this one I was steadily chipping away at during the cleanup, as there are a lot of hobbies and pastimes, and these include things such as street races, playing golf and tennis, just to name a few. And when you finally get the gold medal in all of them, the trophy will be yours. Good start. Well, multi-disciplined. Attain a gold medal in all applicable hobbies and pastimes. For our next trophy, called TP Industries Arm Race, we need to play as Trevor. Here we need to purchase the Mackenzie Field Hangar and complete 10 missions where we have to complete weapons drops and also pick up weapons before rival gangs do. These missions are super easy and don't really take long, and after completing the 10th one, I got my next trophy. TP Industries Arms Race. Purchase Mackenzie Field Hangar and win the arms race. Next on our list was Kiflom, and this is by far the weirdest trophy in the entire game. We basically join a cult by donating a whole heap of money to them, get asked to complete various weird tasks such as finding alien parts, wearing these weird robes for a few days, and then walking for 5 miles in the desert. Yeah, it's super weird. And to make matters worse, after completing every mission, we get a very special reward. Kiflom. Complete your path of enlightenment or not. And with that, we then hit the collectibles. Now GTA 5 has no collectible progression tracker in the game, which makes getting the collectibles rather hard, particularly if you happen to miss one. So I left these all to the end and got a guide and a map up and ticked off every single collectible as I went along. So the very first thing that we started with were the stunt jumps, and these were pretty easy. You just need a very fast car or motorbike, and after a couple of spare hours, I got my next trophy. Show off. Complete all stunt jumps. Next, I completed the 50 under the bridge flights, and like I did with the stunt jumps, I followed along with a guide, and using the buzzard, I flew under the 50 bridges. Now, this is only the first part of the trophy, and for the next part, we have to complete 15 knife flights. Here, you need to fly a plane on the side through buildings in 15 separate locations around the map. The easiest way to do this is to go to flight school and pick the third lesson, and you can fly around Los Santos, and if you die, you instantly respawn back in a plane, and honestly, this saves so much time, because trust me, you are going to die a lot with this one. Oh my god, yes. Close shave. Complete all under the bridge and knife flight challenges. Then we get into the true collectibles of the game, and honestly, they simply suck. The first is the letter scraps, and here we have 50 of these to collect, and they are spaced out everywhere around the map. So just like I did before, I flew around in the buzzard, and after collecting all 50 pieces, I completed the letter, which gave us a location of the murderer of Leonara Johnson, and after confronting him, I decided to let him go. A mystery solved. Solve the mystery of Leonara Johnson. Next on the list, I then headed down to the old dock as Michael and purchased it, and here we had to find 30 bits of nuclear waste to get the waste management trophy. The submarine here moves so slow, but it's impossible to miss any of them as they pop up as a ping on your phone. Waste management. Purchase the old dock and collect all nuclear waste. I also paired this with the out of your depth trophy, where all you need to do is get eaten by a shark. And so after finding the very last bit of nuclear material, I just jumped out of the submarine, swam around in the ocean, and got eaten by a shark. Out of your depth. You're gonna need a bigger boat. Now I had one last collectible to get, and this was for finding the 50 spaceship parts. So I hopped in the buzzard and flew around Los Santos to find these 50 parts. Now, if you're going for the platinum trophy, it's likely that when you are going for one of these collectibles, you will get the sightseer trophy, and that is for exploring all of Los Santos and Blaine County. Hey, San Andreas sightseer. Explore all of Los Santos and Blaine County. And after getting my 50th spaceship part, I got my cool reward and of course the trophy and 100%. From Beyond the Stars, collect and return all spaceship parts. Oh, there we go. Career Criminal. Attain 100% game completion. And so with that, the story mode was 100% complete, and it was time to move on to the dreaded online. Now, if you've played GTA Online before, you know just how toxic these lobbies can get. But we start our online journey by making our character, picking what business we want to run, and before we even get started with anything, we pop 2 trophies straight off the bat. Off the plane. What's this mean? Complete the introduction. American Dream, own an apartment garage and an insured vehicle. Now, I haven't played GTA Online properly since the game was updated and released on the PS4 years ago, and let's just say it's pretty overwhelming. And so after mucking around just exploring what Los Santos had to offer, I then decided it was time to get the online trophies. And the first one that I could get is Stick Up Kid, and that is for holding up all stores in the GTA Online lobby. This one is pretty straightforward, except for the fact that you can't fast travel anywhere in GTA Online and have to drive everywhere. Alright, Stick Up Kid, GTA Online, hold up all 20 stores. Now, just like in the story mode, we have to participate in everything Los Santos has to offer in GTA Online in order to get the Enjoy Your Stay trophy. This is pretty easy, however, to get the numero uno trophy, you have to obtain first place in every single competitive game type. With the help of my friend, this was actually pretty straightforward, and it took us around 3 hours to complete, whilst completing a few other trophies along the way, and yes, of course, he let me win everything. There we go, Enjoy Your Stay. GTA Online, participate in everything Los Santos has to offer. And then we tackled the harder trophies, with the first one being Backseat Driver. For this trophy, you need to be passenger and you have to direct your driver to win in the rally mode portion of GTA Online. Now, this is actually pretty easy if you have a group of other people to do this with, however, if you're doing it by yourself, it can be a little bit of a nightmare. Backseat Driver, GTA Online, direct a driver to first place as co-driver in rally mode. Next on the list was Unnatural Selection, and this was for surviving all 10 waves in a survival mode, and again, this was pretty straightforward. Survival passed. Unnatural Selection. GTA Online, complete all 10 waves of the survival. This also got us the Clean Sweep trophy, and that was for completing a gang attack without dying and getting at least 10 kills. Clean Sweep. GTA Online, finish a gang attack without dying and kill at least 10 enemies. And with that gang attack finished, we then popped the Numero Uno trophy. Numero Uno, obtain first place in all competitive game types. At this stage I had reached rank 20, and this allowed me to call Merryweather and ask for a backup helicopter, and this also popped me another trophy. Dialing digits.
A helicopter has been
GTA
dispatched to your
Online,
area.
call for a backup helicopter for the first time. And then the very last miscellaneous trophy for online was the Midnight Club trophy, and that was for winning 5 races with custom vehicles, and of course my friend let me win 5 races. The Midnight Club. GTA Online, use custom vehicles to win 5 races. Now for the next couple of trophies, it's definitely recommended that you get a friend to help you here. The first one is full refund, and this is for killing the thief that mugged you. This is easy enough, just get a friend to call the mugger on you and then kill them after they mug you and the trophy is yours. Full refund, GTA Online, kill the thief that mugged you. Next is Run Like the Wind, and this is for surviving with a bounty on your head. I joined into a private server, my friend called a bounty on me, and then I stood there for 48 minutes and then my trophy popped. Run Like the Wind. GTA Online, survive with a bounty on your head. Now at this stage we only had 5 trophies left in the game, and 3 of these were all related to level, and this is where the grind of the game really started. I was honestly having a lot of fun in GTA Online, and I wanted to just experience all of the new stuff, so I joined into a lot of random jobs, accepted some random heists, and then popped my next trophies for getting to level 25 and level 50. Nice. 3-bit gangster. GTA Online, reach rank 25 for trophy. There we go, making moves. GTA Online, reach rank 50. Now, unless you buy GTA Online, there is honestly no quick way to level up. So I spent from pretty much level 50 all the way through here now to level 100, grinding the same crates over and over and over for hours. This was the only consistent method, and with the help of a friend, you can just stand next to them, get the CEO bonus and the RP bonus for flying with them, and you'll be able to get through the levels pretty quickly. Now, the only other trophy I also had left to get was getting the 30 platinum medals, and this will come pretty well naturally if you just complete a few heists and participate in a few other events around Los Santos. There we go, decorated, earn 30 platinum awards. But after grinding crates for around 8 to 10 hours, I finally reached rank 100 and popped my platinum trophy for GTA 5. And we got, oh there we go, above the law, GTA Online, reach rank 100. Los Santos legend. Congratulations, you're Vinewood's biggest star. So the GTA 5 Platinum took me around 150 hours to complete, but not only was it one of the longest Platinums I've ever done, it was also my 100th Platinum. I just want to say that if you guys have hung around and watched this entire video, I do really appreciate it, and if you can hit that like and subscribe button, and then leave a comment down below on what video you think I should do next, that would be greatly appreciated. But I will see you guys all in the next one, and happy trophy hunting.